My 3-year-old son would have thrown better today, and he can lift the football.
Horrific.
Yeah, not bad.
Let's go.
Done deal, Giants, 3-0. They gave us an F grade. The F is for out of here.
They were dead ass wrong without cursing.
And the Ravens.
All right,
That might be authentic.
that was an F grade for fudge out of here. 3-0.
I did great.
What was the record for the team?
The record for the team 3-0.
Anybody had you 3-0?
Nah,
Nobody.
They had us probably going 1-4.
There's a lot of people here who saw.
Was
Hi, and welcome to DD Live. Welcome to week 2, to the greatest episode of the greatest show of the greatest league. DD Live, DD Sports. I'm your host, Angel Camacho, and my esteemed colleague, Jose Perra Guerra, and we are brought to you by PK Realty. If you need any property management or you need any property at all, the man to call is Kevin Nunez. And how about them Dolphins, huh? Those guys are hot. Speaking of which, we have a jam-packed episode. We're going to talk about those week 1 results, move into some of the drama that's been going on around the league, have a couple guests that I'm sure we're going to want to hear their opinions on certain matters of the DDPA, certain members being disbarred from the DDPA Council, from the Jedi Knight Council. So it's a jam-packed episode. So, gentlemen, strap in. Let's enjoy. So, starting off with what was week 1. Perra, talk to me, man. What happened? What were your takeaways?
The Dolphins are a lot better than I thought. But then again, I probably wouldn't say all that. I don't want to get
I had them 3-0, baby. I had them 3-0.
Yeah, you get that. You get those flowers. But no, man, the Dolphins are a pretty good put together team. Definitely, surprised me a bit, even though I wouldn't say, that old cliche. They didn't beat us. We lost. But good game. Looking forward to playing them again. Probably would only happen, would definitely only happen in the championship. So looking forward to that. They came out. They did very well. The Cowboys, although their record says they played very well, I think it was kind of a mixed bag with them. I don't think they're as good as people think, or as good as their record would indicate. 2-1 is a pretty good record. And then I think the biggest surprise, even to myself, but I think to the whole league, the Giants coming out 3-0. Even though at the end of the day, you got to play and you got to beat who's in front of you. All props to them. All the credit, goes to Chris D and the rest of that team. But they didn't really play nobody. And I know that last game against the Saints was like a nail biter. It came down to the last play of the game or something like that. So, but yeah, those would be my biggest 2 takeaways. The Dolphins are a legit team. The Giants, crazy, right? That 3-0 record, and then I wouldn't say any bad surprises because I think the Saints. Everyone anticipated the Saints to be bad. Everyone anticipated the Broncos to be bad. Ray Matt was a pretty good takeaway as well, going 2-1 without Dusty, right? That's anytime you can go 2-1 without your best player, without your quote unquote horse. That's definitely a big win. So but Ramet's capable of doing that. He's a good player. He's been around a long time. He knows what the D is, how the D works. So I'm not too surprised about that. But that would be my main takeaways there.
I think you did a good way of summing up what week 1 was. Couple tidbits. So it's not indicative of the Falcons because the Falcons didn't have Dusty, but the Chiefs came into this week 1 being highly ranked. Everyone had high expectations. They were extremely loud. Devin Delator, as always, the propaganda. They have the squad help on the team. It's like Thanos adding the stones. He has everything, and then gets a decimated Falcons team, and they can only beat him 2-1. So he kind of backed up into a win there. And then, then they beat the Oilers 4-3. So they didn't even pulverize the Oilers. And then they play the
And the Oilers
Broncos.
were down a man. The Oilers were down a man also because Julio Iglesias missed.
Right. Yeah, which that's another case.
Yeah.
What, 3:30 in the morning announcing to your team that you're not going to be able to go? That's a yeah.
That's the Julio value right there.
That's a Julio Iglesias conundrum. And then the Chiefs finish off the day losing 4-1 to the Broncos. So are the Chiefs frauds?
It's perplexing to say the least. I wouldn't say they're frauds because that team is pretty well put together in terms of pieces and how they stack up next to each other. I don't like the team as a whole, but I think it's a pretty well put together team. I just don't think the pieces are good enough to get them there.
Okay. How about the Bucks? Are you surprised how bad the Bucks were?
Yes and no, right? I think, like you said, the Chiefs being 2-1 with the kind of like, just the mixed bag there, that's surprising as well. But I think obviously the Bucks, right? When you have the quarterback of Tronky and you have the number one threat in Gary, I think it's very easy to anticipate and just to say, oh, they're going to score 4 every time. But we know DD's not like that, right? And that's rarely going to happen. And at the end of the day, DD's usually won by those lower tiers. So you can have a horse all you want. Your lower tiers suffer. You're gonna struggle a bit. And I mean, defensively, I don't think they got a single stop consistently, right? I'm sure they got a few stops here and there. Everyone can get a stop, but I don't think they were able to bank on their defense at all. And it's just, I don't think they also, it wasn't a mesh, the team didn't mesh. They didn't come together. I think it was just Tronky, Lavares, and Gary, and then the rest of them, Harold, I'm pretty sure wanted his way out from the moment he was drafted, or maybe after that first game once he saw it wasn't what he thought it was. Freddie, I've seen, the videos or whatnot that Ace loves to share. He didn't look in it. And, Chris Campos, he's a rookie to a season, so he doesn't really know what you never really know what to expect, with a rookie.
A lot to unwind. And well, they're making moves. And I still think that they still need to make more moves because even with the moves that they made, I don't think because now it's Roger and Tronky on the same team.
Yeah. I mean, defensively, I think they got significantly worse. Granted, I get the whole, Freddie and Harold weren't trying or didn't really care to try or whatever the case may be. But man, I mean, you had a pretty good piece in Harold as your tier 6, and also the benefit that he's adding a week. That he's missing a week. So, you can use that as another, leveraging tool to sell him off. So I think you could have sold him and Gary off, kept Chris Campos as your worst player, and, got in 2 middle of the road players. I would have maybe asked for, in the Vikings trade, I would have asked for Andy and Ham instead, something along those lines. But, it is what it is. I think the move was a little bit premature, though.
One thing that you touched on earlier, that you said the Giants were a fraudulent, good record team. Now, you might be onto something. So they beat the Saints. We knew the Saints were going to be trash. They didn't pulverize them. They only beat them 4-3.
And it was like a last-minute play or something like that.
Correct.
It was a good game.
Same thing happened with the Bengals. They beat the Bengals because of a penalty called on the last drive that the Bengals could have won the game on 3rd and goal. Then the Giants drive down the field and win the game. So that game could have gone the other way. And then they also play the Rams, who had all the drama with having to replace their captain.
Yeah, and I think that the Rams first. So they were, that was that first game with Lulu, Botti. They didn't have Donnell, who got there a little bit late. So they played a team that was shorthanded, So again, all the credit goes to Chris. At the end of the day, you got to play who you got to play, and you got to beat them at the end of the day. And they did just that. I just wouldn't say, they're the top at the top of the league, as the record would indicate.
Vikings, Joan, fool's gold.
No, man. Anytime you got Joan, he is, a really good quarterback. He's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in DD and you know, probably in Miami and stuff like that, and in flag, you know, as of right now, you know, that's playing consistently and stuff like that. And then, you know, I think it was Devin. Anytime you have a quarterback of that, you know, pedigree, and you also have the best or the second best safety in the league, that team's gonna give you problems. You know, the fact that he was able to get rid of Roger without getting rid of that piece in Ant,
And he
humongous.
gets guys that want to play with him.
Everyone wants to play with a guy like that, right? Because you know he's gonna score the ball out, which a lot of the times is gonna win in DD, and that's what everyone likes. They want the ball, they want touchdowns, they want the stats, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I think big win in getting rid of Roger and not having to give up Ant, and minimal losses, you know, and really and going from Andy to Freddie, no. I mean, I don't want to say minimal losses, but
he's versatile. And the thing is that now Freddie, there's no pressure to be quarterback, and he's
Freddie's gone. Freddie's gone
be.
too. Sunday morning, he's gone. Before he even sees his stats, he's gonna be gone. You know, he's
gonna but this is the best week to put him on your done duel, because this is pump and dump. This is pump and dump. Pump and dump. All right. Now let's look at the top teams and the bottom teams. So if we had to say, because when you look at the North, you got like 5 teams compressed. You got the Dolphins, Cowboys, Vikings, Bengals, Chiefs, all right there, 1 game from each other. And then the other 3 teams from the South that could jump into that party is the Giants, Falcons, and Seahawks in no particular order. Now, from all of that, who are the 3 teams that stand out? And you could include your very own Seahawks, but of those 3 teams, given the resume, given even though not the records may show for it, but overall where they stand going into week 2, who is your top 3?
I'm gonna give you a top 4, right? Because I'm gonna give the bias and I think the unbiased opinion that, you know, the Seahawks are definitely in that top 4. We played a pretty tough schedule, right? If everyone would, you know, we played the Dolphins 3-0. We played the Chargers that are 1-2, but we also played the Jaguars that I believe are 0-3. But everyone had including myself, even though I hadn't really taken the time to look at their team top to bottom. I think top to bottom they are on paper the best team. But I think we've had a really tough schedule, and I think we've dominated, in my opinion, the Chargers and the Jaguars, right? So I think the Seahawks are definitely in that top 4. I'm gonna say the Vikings are in that top 4. I'm gonna say the Dolphins are in the top 4, and then that 4th, I'm gonna have to give it to the Falcons, right? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to, for the time being, going into week 2. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to give it to the Giants. They played with their whole team. They beat who they were supposed to beat. At the end of the day, if you're that good of a team, you're gonna have to beat the people that are beneath you, right? If you go 500 against a team that are even, you're good. But you gotta go, you know, 800 and above against the teams that you can beat, and they went 3-0. So I gotta give them some flowers there going into week 2. You know, after week 2, we'll see how it looks. But you know, I think the Cowboys are a little bit of fool's gold. I think their gimmicky offense is gonna run out at some point. They also ran into a lot of wide open people. Granted, it's due to their offense, right? But it is what it is. And I think the Bengals are just a step below. I don't think their defense is quite there yet, and I think their offense is still gelling. And then, you know, at the Falcons, they're going to be up there, but if there was a top 5, I'd probably put them, but it's a top 4, so I'm not going to put them because they didn't play with their best player.
My top 4, Dolphins, Giants, Cowboys, Bengals. That's my top 4 exiting week 1. I think these are the most complete teams. I think the Vikings are the first team on the outside looking in, and the second team on the outside looking in is the Seahawks. A lot of answers I feel are going to be done in week 2. And then we have the Falcons, and then we have the Chiefs, and then we have the Ravens for me. Then everybody else. That's from what I saw, going from field to field.
I don't think you got to watch us play, right?
I didn't get to see the Seahawks play. No.
Yeah. I mean, look, we have another tough week. We play the Vikings, we play the Cowboys, and then we play the Ravens.
You go 3-0. You go 3-0. You shoot right back up.
Oh, I mean, I don't think there's I don't think there's a lot of shoot. There's not a lot of room to shoot up, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, definitely the goal and the plan is to go 3-0.
You're guaranteeing it 3-0 this week?
I'm not gonna guarantee anything. You know, injuries happen. You know, sometimes I forget how to play football.
Wait, are
It
you
happens.
foreshadowing something? Are you a little sneaky, little something from the moment?
No, man. No, man.
starts,
Look, everyone's riding the hype right now with Deion Sanders, and the one thing they keep telling him is like, "Yo, you can't go at reporters like that because you never know. Football's a rough sport. People can get hurt, and then that can derail your whole season, and they can come back to you and tell you whatever they want." So I'm not gonna guarantee anything. But yeah, 3-0 is definitely the plan. But you know, injuries can happen, and most importantly, I can shit the bed. I'm known for that. So
What about bottom teams, bottom feeders?
I mean, I think it's pretty easy to say that. I think the Broncos are definitely a bottom feeder. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what Dario's doing with the trades he's trying to make or he is making and the ones he's still offering. He has, I'm sorry to say, he has no idea what the hell he's doing now at this point. The Saints, that team has no shot of coming back up. I don't like, they don't have any leadership. You know, when it comes to DD, they have a lot of IQ, flag IQ, but DD, you know, leadership is one thing that a lot of teams don't account for. They don't have any of that. You know, your most tenured player is Gianni. I love Gianni. He can be a great tier 6 on my team any day, but he shouldn't be your leader in DD when it comes to experience. So I think those two teams are by far the worst two teams. And then I also believe that the Chargers are in that bottom three. I know Stritz is definitely a lot more proven than Corona is, but I like the overall makeup of the Oilers way above. I like the overall makeup of the Chargers. Chargers need to make a move. Stritz doesn't want to make a move. I don't think that team is going anywhere anytime soon.
In my power rankings, the last 5 teams are Broncos at 12, Oilers at 13, Bucks at 14, Saints at 15, Jaguars at 16.
I mean, I personally,
they're playing a lot of bad football down there in the bottom.
Agreed.
Those last 5 teams are playing a lot of bad football. A lot of bad decision making.
You got, and that's why I would say the Buccaneers can't be down there because decision making is not a thing that Tronky usually struggles with. And I think
they got Roger. That's a very bad decision making.
GM skills, yeah.
He's horrific. He is horrific. Yeah, no, he's an amazing quarterback. No one's saying that he's not, but he's not playing for ESS.
Yeah. Hey,
it's a QB. It's a QB season, bro. He's digging his own grave.
Yep.
Well, speaking of QBs and digging graves, and someone who dug Tronky in a grave, let's that kind of leads us into our very next guest of the episode. Case of emotions.
It was obviously I watch all the shows. This DD Live is one of my favorite shows. So I was tuned in and got to witness for 90 minutes. Joan's past his prime and Joan's going to lose to Tronky, according to your co-host. And you thought it was going to be close. So maybe he didn't have the fire that I had for that game, but I was looking forward because last time I played him, he had Lulu and I had Freddie Bops, and it wasn't a good matchup for us. We got destroyed. So now that it was a even playing field, I had to, I had a little fire in me. Thanks to you guys.
4-1.
Yeah, it was a quick game. I would say maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
I walked on the field. It was you. It was your fault. You did this. You did this. Go apologize to him. Give us a quick recap. How was it? Just bombas?
We got lucky that obviously we got ball first. We actually at the coin toss, I told him when we got ball first, I said, all right, well, it'll be a 4-4 tie then. You score 4 and it's on you now. And we got ball first, scored. We drove first drive. I like to kind of feel the game to kind of like to see what the mismatches are. So my first drives are usually I won't take a shot. I'll drive. And I noticed that it was Freddie Semino at safety, and they just had Gary on the left, Laveris on the right. I said, all right, game over. Like, There was times where I would put Kevin G on the left side and he was being covered by Gary.
Yeah. Okay.
So that means no one was moving. So Ant Hernandez was on an island against Freddie. They can blame Freddie all they want, but Freddie should not be covering Ant all game. And then Tronky was on Kevin G, so I took advantage of that as well. And Kevin G had a game. He was on Laveris one play, and I was like, yo, stop and go, but hitch hard. So Laveris thinks it's coming. I made a move on Harold. I pumped the hitch, and Laveris jumped it, and he bombed Laveris. Your tier 5 bombing your tier 2 just destroyed their, I guess that team wasn't off to a good start.
Looking at your statistics for the week, it would anyone, like, if you just give them like a sample size, says how many touchdowns you threw, interceptions, everything, they would say you went, it would be easy to say you went 3-0. You lost the game. How did you lose?
Oh, that was on me. I couldn't move anymore. It was my first time playing defense in 2.5 years in my ACL. And I had nothing in me. So that was on me. They scored. They got ball first, scored.
I saw Steady
scored.
should have bombed you on a post. And,
wait, that's game 2.
And there was a sniper.
That was game 2. No. That game was a blowout too. The reason why that game wasn't 4-0, that was against the Ravens, was because I tried to, and Commissioner had put Roger on his done duel. And he asked me before that game, please feed him. And on 2 3rd-and-goals, I tried to get Roger the touchdown. He dropped it.
You're such a liar.
But he got open.
You're a cap artist. You're a cap artist. You were raising his stock because you're going to trade him away.
No. I didn't think I would be able to get it.
Hey, you're Houdini, Bobby. Oh, yeah, you could sell ice to an Eskimo, baby, because you got rid of Roger and you got back somebody who'll run through a brick wall for you.
Hey, Roger balled, though. Roger balled.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. You were motivated to ship that man, my little cock, out to Timbuktu, and you went to Tronky. Like, you beat Tronky 4-1. You said, hey, you know what? Here, have Roger.
How come I can't see Perra on here? I only see you.
No, yeah, Perra's on here, bro. Absolutely, Perra's on here. No,
man.
Okay.
No,
I can hear you.
You're gonna give me. I have PTSD because one time I didn't do the whole screen thing right and just recorded the wrong way, but I know I did this right.
Okay.
This time. So, all right. So, talk to me. The moves you made on your team. What's the outlook? How do you feel? We know that we should always ask you after week 3, when you can't make any more trades, because you're most probably gonna jack someone else's value up and trade them away. But what do you think you feel? Because we were talking about, are the Vikings fool's gold or not? We're still feeling that they're top of they're the middle of the top tier. They're just not elite. That's where sort of we're at. That's where the
all right.
Is at. Where do you think?
I guess that's fair if you think that the team's gonna change, which obviously it can.
Are you gonna trade Ant? Like, because I know you, bro. Because if somebody gives you a trade that you can't walk away from, like, I know you, like, da la picazón, or you're gonna like, can we expect that you at least gonna keep Ant, like, through and through?
I thought I was gonna keep Roger through and through. I didn't think I was gonna be able to move him. So everybody's on the block on my team, not because they don't fit me, but because I'm a GM. There's maybe 3 or 4 guys, including your co-host, that are GMs. And that don't treat it as a captain. They treat it as a general manager of a team. And my goal is to take the best team to the playoffs. So if that means that Ant could be packaged in a deal to make us better, yeah, definitely. But now, I wouldn't do Ant for Gary. I wouldn't do Ant for a 1-on-1 player. I wouldn't do Ant for Lulu. I'm sure I'm gonna get a call later, because that little game time group gets butthurt every time someone mentions something about Lulu. But obviously, Lulu's a great player, but I wouldn't do a 1-for-1 with Ant. It would have to be a package deal where Ant's moving with maybe Kevin or Harold, and I'm getting back like a safety and another stud.
Okay. Any teams? Actually, you know what? In your estimation, top 3 teams. Your opinion.
I think us, the Cowboys, and I would have said the Chiefs before week 1, but seeing the way they played, definitely. I think the Seahawks and the Bengals. Seahawks and Bengals are fighting for that 3rd. I'm gonna say 4, but it could be either one. I think I'll give it to the Bengals by a little bit, just because Alfredo can play defense. But the Seahawks are loaded all the way to 6.
Worst team.
Oh,
Absolute
Saints.
worst.
Saints. It's not close. Yeah. Those guys can't even trade. Like, he wants to trade, but he has no value the way he got fucked in the
Yes,
in
3
the
tiers.
pre-draft. Oh, yeah, he's
Granted, they're not all tier 6s individually,
Yeah.
but combined doesn't give you any value.
yeah.
Start, bench, cut. Johan, Fredo, Perra.
DD.
Yeah, right now.
Oh,
I'm
DD
not
right
putting
now.
you in- I'm not putting you in there.
Um,
Give you 3 adversaries. I don't even think Ray Matt or Devin makes a cut here.
all right, give me a little more info so I can give you a direct answer. Are they drafting their teams, or am I starting?
No,
I'm a GM and I'm starting
right now status QB rankings.
with their teams.
No, right now the way that they're playing.
For
right
example, the way I'm asking is because does Alfredo? Am I drafting Alfredo to start for a team, or does Alfredo have his guys?
Fredo
like
and
the
DD
current
right
guys he
now.
has.
Fredo, DD right now. DD rankings. How he's playing with the Bengals. How
I'll start.
Johan is playing with the Finns. How Perra's playing with the
Oof.
Seahawks.
I didn't get to watch
bench.
Perra.
Start
Well,
bench.
Johan got stud of the week, so it would be stupid not to start Johan. So I'm gonna start Johan. I got to watch one of Alfredo's game and it wasn't a good one, so I'm gonna have to bench Perra and cut Alfredo if we're
Okay.
going off week 1.
Okay. Like the answer. Now, transitioning to owner, Johan. After week 1, looking at the player pool, looking at the results, looking at the games, looking at some of the off the field incidents that's happening, some of the drama in the chat, a lot of the things on and off the field. Are you content with this season? How it's going?
Best
Is
season.
the script going according to plan?
Yeah. Best season. Andy's script is falling into our golden, godly done deal hands. I mean, it's pretty fair. There's a couple 0-3 teams that can go 3-0, which tells you that, if everyone has a chance to win, that tells you it's a good competitive season. And I feel like you can get that this season. The Jags can easily go 3-0 if they play better. The Chiefs can go easily 0-3 if they stink it up again. So I think Andy's move that he made, making the quarterbacks having to play defense and draft their teams, and us going to 16, is a benefit to everyone. Outside of the guys that got cut, I think there's nothing that you can say that we've had a negative feel. Even the picking of the conferences, people thought there's an easy way back. There's an easy conference, hard conference. Eliminated that by everyone playing each other.
Yep.
I think it's great. I like it.
You're gonna say Vikings from the North, and I respect that. So I'm not gonna ask you who's gonna win the North, but who you're gonna see in the championship from the South.
I would love to see Tronky in the finals. Get the 2 best quarterbacks, but I don't think that would be the 2 best teams because I think Tronky lost this last trade. So probably, I think me against Perra would be a fun one. Seahawks have a loaded roster.
Now
I hope they make them.
you called me out on something because we're on a separate chat. In the done deal pick'ems, we have Vikings versus Seahawks, and I picked Seahawks to win over the Vikings. And you called me out and you said that this would be the first time ever in DD that Perra would beat Johan. So
No, he beat me with CC in
CC?
season 10. Yep. I traded for my brother, and I didn't have. I was short a guy, but it still doesn't matter. You got to play with what you got. And they went 3-0. I remember all my DD games. I bet I went 3-0 that week. I'm pretty sure CC got stud of the week, or if not, he did. I went 2-1.
Johan, the historian, I think he has his.
He was the Steelers.
Has this game scheduled. Oh, it's gonna be one to watch, boys. I don't know that or Miami, Texas A&M. It's gonna be a good game. Both are gonna be a good game. All right, stud. Thank you for coming on, being candid
You're
with
welcome.
us.
Thanks for having us. Having me.
Thank
The
you.
Vikings.
Thank you for contributing to the show, and we wish you and the Vikings luck. And I just,
You don't mean that. That's all right. Thanks.
I want Ant to get the star, man. I want Ant to get a star. Get that man a star.
Me too.
All right, brother.
All right, guys.
Wow. Well, transitioning from, one quarterback, to another, one, Joanne to another, but this one's 3-0. This is Johan, baby. Yeah, look at this guy.
You're
Look,
muted, Bobby. You're muted.
look at this guy. You are muted.
What's up, fellas?
Oh my God, look at that. This guy is he's in the set. He's in the where the magic happens. Wearing his Fins jersey 3-0. How you feeling?
Yes,
How you
sir.
feeling after a good week 1?
Feeling good, brand new week, so last week doesn't matter anymore.
Did you know your team was that good off rip from when you picked it when you started practicing after the first drive, or after it's all said and done? When did you
When I picked it, I'll be honest with you.
3-0? Like I could go out there and do 3-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Is the team locked? Any changes on the horizon?
no changes.
No changes.
Unless no changes at all.
Unless Kevin gets you.
That's fine. Kevin will be back down to the bottom of the receiver list.
That's kind of enticing. And so and what are you looking forward towards this week?
Same thing. We're just gonna go out there and play ball because we're not a fast team. We're slow. We don't got a tier 1. The usual.
Because
So
you're playing Ravens, you're playing Cowboys, and you're playing Giants.
Giants. Yeah, good games, but we'll still come out on top.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Who would you say is a team that you would say is an equal adversary to how hot the Finns are?
Equal? I don't know. Perra's team was pretty good. A lot of drops killed them though. So Giants are still a good team.
Well, Perra will disagree. Perra says they're fraudulent because they played the Saints and they played the Rams, and it came down to a penalty for them to get a final drive to beat the Bengals. So he says the Giants are a fraudulent team.
I guess we'll find out this week, right?
Yeah, because and that's another thing. A lot of these games is going to cement the seasons for another team, because if you get another 3-0, another 2-1, that puts you guys well ahead of everyone.
That puts you 2 steps ahead of the rest of the league.
Because you're knocking out teams that will cause a problem. Because the Ravens, and that was the thing that when I picked the games for week 1, it wasn't that I thought the Ravens suck. I just thought that they're a very good team. There's just teams that are better matched than them. There'll be a team that most probably peaks like week 3, week 4 to get back in the hunt of things. But if the Finns beat the Ravens, if the Finns beat the Cowboys and the Giants, 6-0. That's tough. That is very tough. That's tough.
All right, we'll see.
I think you could do it. I think it's in you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say.
Look, I picked Finns over Ravens. Let's see over here. I picked Finns over Giants. But did I pick the Finns to lose one? Did I pick the Finns to lose?
I would imagine.
I picked the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys. David, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
They got me.
I would say the hardest matchup is probably the Giants, just because of their 1 through 5. And I think the Cowboys will play into your hands in terms of they're gonna run that gimmicky handoff. And like you said, and obviously I know from playing you guys are not the fastest, but you have IQ up the ass. And a little bit of chemistry, and DD experience, which is big. So I actually don't think that's about. I think just the hardest matchup because of just the speed and the length involved in the Giants. I would probably say I still got you guys against them because I'm gonna pick a quarterback before a non-traditional quarterback any day. So, but I think that's your hardest matchup this week.
The Giants.
Yeah.
All right,
The
cool.
fraudulent Giants. Better, you're flip flopping here.
Well,
Johan,
I said the hardest matchup. I didn't say they were going to lose to the Giants. I said I would still pick the Dolphins to win, but I think that's their hardest matchup because I don't think the Ravens can compete. And then I think again, I just think that offense and the slow, gimmicky type of offense that the Cowboys run is going to play into the Dolphins' hand with their IQ and just DD experience.
makes sense. Now, Johan, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Start, bench, cut after week 1. Johan, Alfredo, Perra. Start, bench, cut after week 1. Johan, Alfredo, Perra. I'm not including you in the list. You're
I'll go Alfredo, Perra, Joan.
So Alfredo start,
Yeah.
bench, Perra,
Yeah.
and cut the fuck out of Johan.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, I love this show, man. I love you guys. You got anything for us? You got anything more for us, John? Something you want to tell? A bone to pick?
It scored more. I'll give you that. The Bengals scored more than the Vikings.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bengals is no, and you look at the statistics wise, Fredo is having so far the better season. Should have been 3-0 too. But so should have the Vikings, but it is what it is, man. That's but you know who did go 3-0? This guy right here.
Baby.
This guy right here.
Hey.
Sorry, John. Thank you, John, for being with us. We appreciate you for coming on the show.
I appreciate you for having me.
For being stud of the week, for coming on, spitting some knowledge with us, and we wish you the best of luck. I have you going 2-1, but I would not be surprised if you go 3-0, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right. Take care, fellas. Peace out.
Launch that ball. All right, man. We're swifting through these interviews, Perrita. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me. How you feeling so far? Pretty good?
Yeah. I mean, I think just based on matchup wise, I think that although I think the Dolphins win the game against the Cowboys, I think it's gonna be a good game, but it might be like an ugly 3-2 or like a 4-2 that's not really a 4-2. It's going to be a lot closer than what the score says. But I mean, I like that game. I hope, right, that's a game of the week because I think that definitely has the potential to be a good game all around.
Who do you think needs to make a trade?
I mean, well, Tronky needs to make another trade, right?
Right. Okay, but
yeah,
we know that. But who needs to make that trade, or who's one trade away from? Because they look nice, but you know what? Because the Ravens are like one of those teams to me that they look nice, but they got to do something to just take it to the next level.
So I'm gonna be. I hope I don't scare people away. My guys know what's up, but I think the Seahawks potentially with the right trade partner could be a trade away. But again, it has to be.
Yeah, because you have like 5 rushers.
Hey, you guys can keep calling them rushers all you want, but just in terms of, if I get that right deal, then, I'll talk it over with the team and see if it makes sense for us to make that trade. But I don't think, we necessarily I don't think we need to make a trade. A lot of people keep saying that I need to make a trade. I don't need to make a trade. I have all the leverage in the world. I think my team is stacked as is. And if we keep playing defense the way we played game 2 and 3, I have nothing to worry about, I'll take L's in the chin all day if it's on me, not on the defense. But I think the Saints need to make a trade. But in terms of being like realistic, real teams, the Chargers need to make a trade. That 3 or 2-headed monster that Stritch think he has, it ain't it. And I mean, I love Chink personally, but he's not a horse. Not at this stage of his recovery from his injury. I saw him play. He's a great number 2, but he's not worth a number 1 pick, right? A first-round pick when it also comes with another tier 6. So I that's why I don't like that team makeup. And then David, I mean, shoot, I was one of the people that was impressed with him in the scrimmage, but he needs to go just because he does nothing for the team when he's the third best player. But then you have, 3 tier 6s with Stritz, Alabao, and DQ. And again, like Stritz is not a tier 6. Alabao is not a tier 6. But when you add them up together and they're on the same team, there's not enough value there, right? So I think that he needs to trade away. In reality, if he can get away with trading, Chink and Alabao, that would be a perfect scenario. If not, I would be any captain that trades with him would be dumb if they take anything less than or let me back up. His best trade for him to make his team better would be Chink and DQ. I don't know who in their right mind would take that trade for anything. So I think he's gonna probably end up having to stay with the team or trade Kurt and Alaba because again, any team traded with him has all the leverage. So I think the Chargers need to make a trade.
This week screams like it's like the team.
It's gonna be panic. A lot of teams
either it's funny to see if the teams stay like stagnant where they're at, or if there's gonna be like huge disparity, and then it's gonna cause everyone to do like massive panic trades like from 10 to 10.
Yeah. So I think the Jaguars are still pretty good. I still believe that they have the best roster top to bottom. It's just Drew didn't come right, and their defense just kind of was all over the place. It was out of whack. But I think top to bottom, that team is phenomenal. But I think the Chargers are definitely the number one team that people think they're good. I don't think they're good at all. And they definitely have the pieces to trade. I don't know if Stritz would trade. But I think that's the number one team that's still in contention. If they make a trade, they can fight for a playoff seed.
Interesting. Now let's move on to games of the week. First game. Seahawks, Vikings. Who do you got?
I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? I'm gonna have Seahawks.
I got 4-3 Seahawks.
Yeah,
we're gonna
4-3
sweep
Seahawks.
that one. So
I think
and on through that's an easy one. All right, you better win that one. Porque si no, bro, that guy's me va a gritar cuando me vea hacer. Fins Cowboys. I have Cowboys 4-3 on this one. I think I just like the amount of defense Peter and David could bring onto a field. They're a very well-rounded team. There's a lot of guys who could do a lot of things. They're like jack of all trades. Plus, it's David. They've made a lot of boneheaded mistakes and then went 2-0-1. It's a team that they could easily go 3-0. You were big on them week 1. I'm sponsoring them. I'm going Cowboys 4-3, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Fins win. I still got the Fins going 2-1.
For everything that you said, the only thing I can come back with is the fact that the tier 6 for the Dolphins is better than Pete Velez, the tier 6 for the Cowboys, and by a pretty substantial margin, in my opinion. Having that, I've played against both of them now. Obviously not Pete in this season, but I've played against Pete in other seasons. So I'm going to take the Dolphins because of that. Right, I think the IQ, it's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna take Dolphins 3-2.
Okay. Falcons, Vikings, 11 a.m. game. Who do you got?
So, this is a tough game, but I also don't think it's a tough game because I think just top to bottom, I think the Vikings have a better roster. And I think they're gonna fit together better. And then I'm not quite sure if Raymond, not that he has figured out DD yet, but I don't know if he has those matchups like he thinks he does. Like I like Eric, right? And I like Boo individually. Together, you arguably have 2 tier 5s. Although that's great in tier 6. But then Raymond is not gonna really move too much. So you can, if you have a better tier 6, you can have your tier 6 rush Raymond. So I'm gonna
3 tier 5s on defense.
Exactly. So it's a little rough, right? So that's why, because of that,
I got 4-3 Vikings.
I got 4-2 Vikings.
4-3 Vikings for me. I 4-2 is very resounding because you still have to have Joan playing defense. It's gonna be his third game. I'm gonna pick Vikings here 4-3. Final game, Fins Giants, and Fins bandwagon. I have them 2-1 on the weekend. Fins Giants here. You saying Giants fraudulent? I care to think that there's some, even though Chris D's having a very good statistical week one performance. There's always that drop off from the Chris D quarterback play. He's always, one week away from meltdown screaming and cursing at everyone. So I think this will be one of those games. Johan is motivated, as you can see. This man is cool, calm, and collected. So I got Fins here for 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Dolphins, right? But I'm gonna say the Dolphins 3-1. I think that Giants defense is good enough with their length and their speed. And then Chris D over the top to give Johan some problems. And then they have a pretty good rusher in Paz to begin the game. So I'm gonna give it to the Dolphins, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be an ugly 3-1 Dolphins.
All right. Well, that wraps up games of the week. Now, the DDPA is something that we hold very in high regard as DD members. They are a very wise council. They are the gatekeepers of integrity of everything that is ongoing in terms of transactions and player needs in every DD season. So to speak more on the state of the DDPA and all things having to do with league transactions, given everything that has been ongoing on and off the field in the last couple of weeks, we'd like to bring on a friend of the show, Raymet Martinez, another colleague of mine on the DDPA Council. And Raymet, we appreciate you coming back onto the show again. Talk to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
You've had.
I forgot my shades, guys. You should have told me. You should have given me the memo.
You had a very, very rough week. I think you were at the epicenter of a lot of trolling, a lot of things that ongoing. You took it very personal. Can you shed some light for those who need a quick synopsis of what transpired?
So there was some transactions made. There was an instance of what we believed was collusion. And then the trolling went into the all-time high. So that's pretty much a quick synopsis.
El tipo usó la información que estaba escuchando en el chat to make better trades, buying time, and then trabando una, la otra entraba. Come on, papi.
It was immediately when right after the other trade got, I guess, pushed back. There was another. It was 2 back-to-back trades, bing bing, and I was like, yo, like how. What was going on in the background, so to speak. And then we later found out even more information that as soon as that the Bucks Broncos trade went in, he messaged Dario and asked him, hey, you wouldn't rather Julio? So there you go. 1 minute after the trade was
committed.
Is
it also like just Dario just trading anything, bro? Like a Debo, like he's like most.
No. The guy was. I mean, he's on a high. He's a rookie. He's mentioned it. He's like
Oprah Winfrey.
He was on a trade high.
You get one.
He was on a trade high. Like I said, the only thing I'm disappointed is the way that I reacted, because I think, like always, I'm in control.
But it was a
lot.
Rule of like it was a perfect storm, because you had,
it was a lot.
You had a lawyering, because very conniving, and then doubling down. I just love the double down, because
he's a smart guy, man. He's a smart guy.
Just doubling down and just torching, scorching earth, and so that's on one end. But for me, the part that I laugh is that in all of this, Joan wins. Joan's the one that got the best trade. Like somehow, bro, the DD gods bless this man. If Corona doesn't do what he does, like most probably the original trade goes through, nothing happens, and Joan's in a worse situation than what he is right now. But a Debo starts colluding, tries to get it for him. I want it for me.
And what sucks? What sucks, Angel?
Boom.
Yep. And what sucks, Angel, is that I think that if that first trade goes through, Corona gets Gary week 3. Because he gets him from Dario.
No, it's like it's just like spoiled brat syndrome. Depot shot himself in the foot. He doesn't know how to DD. El
It
tipo no
was
sabe, Didi.
it was a pretty perfect storm, yeah.
But overall, how do you feel about how the the DDPA has comported themselves? Because the fact that they excommunicado the guy, they
Yeah,
disbarred
I
the
think
man.
outside
Disbarred the
of my
man.
reaction,
Like not in this
yeah.
bar, baby. You're not welcome.
And the
Get
thing is that
back.
it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. Like we took our time. Andy took the night.
No, and that was like
Other
how,
owners got
yeah,
involved.
100%. This is
Like
how them
we did it was a full-blown
Yeah, no, I
like
went at 2
investigation.
no, I went like at 2:30 in the morning to Andy's house. Like we locked up ourselves and we opened up a bottle of Camus wine. We sat there. He wanted to smoke a cigar. I don't smoke. We just talked about it through. We
No
read
smoke.
I didn't smoke, Andy did. We read the bylaws. No cigars. He smoked cigars. Read the bylaws of DD. We looked at everything, the shareholder agreement. We looked at, we talked with Joan because he's a historian. Looked at everything. There was no precedent, and we're just proud to have the best commissioner of all time. And I think the DDPA is in its best state ever. I think now
You guys for a
we're
replacement?
surrounded by people who love DD and will not. You shall not pass. Esa hipocresía.
Yeah. Yeah.
Está bueno
No,
ya.
I feel like
Está
we
bueno
did
ya.
we did
Te
what was
agarramos
best for
with
the
a hand
league.
in the cookie jar. No hand in the cookie jar, man. No. Talk to me, Ray, man. Anything else going on in the league? A lot of
No.
transactions. I'm surprised we haven't
Yeah.
gotten more action.
I think after that whole debacle, everybody caught like cold feet. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, hold up. Let this week pass.
Yeah, well, I feel like the two guys that were involved were the two guys that were the main, mostly active.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, like any good GM, you're always gonna listen to offers. But I mean, I'm not taking anything seriously. I haven't gotten a single offer that I'm like, yeah, let me even bring this up to my team. It's worth bringing up to
That's
them.
crazy because he has like 5 rushers, and like there's a lot of teams with not even 1 rusher. So,
Hey, he shoved me up.
Perra's
That team of rushers
guy
showed up.
Perra's that guy in fantasy football that he just he drafts like from the same position, like multiple rounds, in like hope that he could trade it away later for like future
He
compensatory
has 12
picks.
receivers.
It's okay. I'll tank this season.
I'll get a running back
In
later.
the future.
It's dynasty, anyways.
But it's not a dynasty. You get new players next season.
No,
All right.
yeah.
Well, Rayman, talk to me. How was week 1? The Falcons, no Dusty. You still had a solid week.
I think
Some
we
of us are a
had
little down on the Falcons. Some of us are a little high on the Falcons. What would you say is a fair assessment of the Falcons, and what do you think it's going to happen going forward?
I think the fact that we were able to go 2-1 without our best player says a lot. Everybody was locked in. I think we should have gone 3-0. Devin did not have his best week. And we didn't capitalize on it. And then we played a Broncos team that was inexperienced with Dario. We were able to DD him, so to speak. He had me on his fastest guy and didn't throw to him once. And then we ran into Corona in the last game.
Apuntate, because you just been called out.
No, he knows. We talked about it. We sat together through the Hurricanes game. So the trash talking. He says that he guessed it was a close game, a close 4-1 game. But bueno, it is what it is. Huh?
He's an idiot. He didn't take a single note.
Yeah,
at all. But no, supposedly he took the notes and used it against Devin in the last game.
No, just Devin sucked. That's how it was.
Yeah, and then we played Corona in the last game, and he was trying to fake the handoff to Mike. He had no field stretcher, and I think we picked him off once or twice. I think we picked 6 them, and it was a 4-2 game.
Now,
so I think we got lucked out that we had a good schedule. This week will test us and see what's up.
Absolutely, I think
because we have a juggernaut schedule right now.
Week 2 is gonna tell us if the Falcons are for real. You play the Bengals, you play the Bucks, you play the Vikings.
Yep. 3 great quarterbacks.
You got Fredo, you got Tronky, and you got Joan. So let me ask you a question. Start, bench, cut. Joan, Tronky, Fredo after week 1.
You left me out of this.
Oh,
Thank God.
after week 1, DD.
Start bench cut.
No, after week 1, you start Joan, bench Tronky, and cut Fredo.
Okay. Fredo, you've been called out.
Yeah,
How do
100%.
you think you're gonna fare against Bengals, Bucks, Vikings? 3-0, 2-1, 1-2.
Going for 2-1, but I think we can go 3-0.
Okay.
I think we have the matchups.
Who's the one that you think is gonna give you the toughest matchup? The one that you know
Joan.
you got your game, John.
I think Joan. And Fredo is obviously a pest. He always gives us, we either go 4-3. It's always a shootout with me and him. So
I picked the Bengals to beat you.
yep,
How does that make you feel?
that's okay.
Okay. I pick you to beat the Bucks,
Shocker.
It's the right choice.
but I picked John to beat you. I have you going 1-2 this week.
That's fine. I can see why,
Does it make
but it
you
won't happen. No, not at all.
not in the slightest?
Yeah. No, you got to get me trolling on a chat for a few days to get me going, and then get me drinking at a UF
I'm
game.
trying to see. I'm just trying to see if I could, if there's something, if I could get some bulletin board material. All right.
Nah,
Well,
never that, brother.
Well, thank you, Raymond. Thank you for coming on, giving us a little bit of a synopsis of el chisme que estaba pasando ahí. Bredero, el tipo que se metió en el DDPA. I think we're all better for him trying to sabotage the league, because it kind of showed the unity and the love and the strength that DD has, and that it can never, it's unwavering, and we have an amazing Jedi Council right now in the DDPA. I feel as strong as
I
ever.
agree, and I think that's why we locked it. We're not even bringing anybody in.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask you. Not looking for.
We're gonna lock
I feel
it.
like we're in such unity
You two and David, no?
that we should make a red zone team together.
Yeah, it's me, Angel, David, and Andy.
Nice.
Qué
I
rico.
think we got a good, diverse group of guys.
I like it. How active is David in that chat?
100% he's active.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the first ones. He was one of the first ones like, yo, this is fishy as fuck.
Yep, 100%.
Like immediately.
El
So,
tipo es sabio.
like I said, it was universal, bro. There was no one person. It was literally everybody. If we were in a room, everybody would look at each other.
Everyone's
Like,
like, yo,
this is
there's a
fucking
rat.
weird.
There's
Yeah,
a rat.
this is fucking weird, dog.
There's a rat.
And it was immediate.
It's
There was no selling it.
It's like, you know, like when Mikey would walk into the chat and he's like, you smell it, like you smell it, like it's like it's like you know, it's like, and that's what happens, bro. Like, you know, like if you walk into a room and you smell trash, you immediately need to identify what is causing that odor and eradicate it from the room, because two things are going to end up happening. One, you're going to become impervious to the smell, and then you're not going to be cognizant the fact that it smells like trash around you. And second, you're going to become trash yourself.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
Not on mine either.
Thanks, Dad.
I can't, buddy. I was waiting for it.
All right, man. I appreciate
Dale,
you, brothers.
guys.
Thank you for being on, man.
Always a pleasure. Appreciate you, boys.
Well, that was a good show, man. You got any bold prediction for this week before we this one up?
You go first.
Bold prediction. Yo, Falcons. I have them 1-2, but they could very easily go 0-3. Tronky's been bullied a lot. The Falcons are beatable. I'm having Falcons 0-3. Cowboys 3-0.
No, Cowboys are not going 3-0. They have 3 games that I think are pretty tough.
Seahawks, Finns, and Jaguars. 3-0 Cowboys, baby. What's your bold prediction?
Oh shit! I'm gonna say, damn. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go on the opposite side. I'm gonna say Chiefs. Ooh, who's the other game? Yeah, Chiefs go 0-3.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Chiefs go 0-3.
Okay.
That's my bold prediction. And I got my man. I mean, it's kind of, I guess at that point it's kind of, obvious, right? I got Devin as the dud of the week. Who you got for stuff?
Hey, you got a bone to pick with the guy. Well, it is what it is.
Well, no, but I mean, shoot, if you go 0-3 as a quarterback,
Yeah, you're dead.
chances are to get,
Baby.
unless, I mean, shoot, maybe he loses every game 4-3, and at that point, hey, he's definitely not gonna get, But if you're going 0-3, you're probably throwing multiple picks, and you're not scoring 3 every single game.
Right.
Chances are you're gonna be able to squeeze out one of those games. So I'm gonna say Chiefs go 0-3, and then I'll change my dud. Actually, I'll change my dud, and I'll say my dud of the week is Freddie Bops.
Freddie Bops. All right.
Nah, I can't do that either, man.
No,
Final answer. Stritz is my dud of the week.
All right. Stritz is your dud of the week.
I got 3, but I'm going with Stritz. Final answer.
Bro, you just rapid fire new. Boom, 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 boom. You just named like 3 duds. Final
answer, Stritz.
All right. Well, gentlemen, that wraps up episode 2. We hope you guys have an amazing
Don't got a
week.
stud? Tell me a stud.
My stud and done?
No, just stud. I didn't say a stud. I got dud. You say stud.
My stud of the week. Bro. Vikings have a lot of tough games, and like the amount of targets that guys get, and he's gonna have to play more defense. He gets the flag pulls. He's gonna get the touchdowns. He's gonna get the receptions. He's the familiar guy on the offense. He doesn't have to catch up to what Johan wants to do on the offense. And the Vikings are gonna play the Seahawks. Vikings are playing the Falcons, and the Vikings are playing the Chiefs. So those are gonna be 3 games where a lot of touchdowns are gonna have to be scored, a lot of defense is gonna have to be played. And so I got Ant Hernandez as my stud of the week.
Like it.
All right. I hope you guys have an amazing week too. We get to talk to you guys on the next episode. Remember, this show is brought to you by the amazing Kevin Nunez and PK Realty. Go Fins, that 3-0 team. All right, guys, this is Done Deal Live. Appreciate you watching. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.